This time around we're doing a little bit different from the first two times that we did. We're going to do a 1-2. So both of us are going to draw, both of us are going to read and narrate. Throughout history, there have been young men and women who've had a clear understanding of their life purpose.
On the outside, they looked like normal people, but deep in their hearts, God had begun transforming their outlook.
They did not live for worldly recognition during their lifetime, but pressed on in their courageous work, knowing that the rewards would last for eternity.
18-year-old Jim had a dream. One might think that he, of all people, would have difficulty in choosing a career, but he didn't. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. His high school days were filled with a wide variety of activities, ranging from being involved in the football team, the public speaking club, the school newspaper, and even school plays. Jim was a gifted speaker, being well known for his excellent speeches, and had quite a knack for acting that some of his teachers even encouraged him to pursue acting as a career. But no, Jim knew deep down inside where he was headed to. So he joined the college wrestling team as physical preparation. He studied the Greek language because he knew that it had an important role. He frequently penned down his thoughts and prayers in a journal. On one such occasion, he wrote a statement that would encapsulate his whole life's work. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose.
It was a cold, grey Sunday afternoon in Belfast, Ireland. Bright-eyed 17-year-old Amy and her family were walking home from the church service when suddenly Amy's eye caught sight of an old woman dressed in tattered rags. She was struggling as she carried a heavy bundle down the road, passing dignified and cultured women. In a spontaneous burst of compassion, Amy ran to help the old lady. As they plodded slowly, Amy felt stares of people around her and heard nervous coughs. Thoughts of regret gradually filled her mind as they met more disapproving eyes of well-to-do people. They knew that Amy was from a respectable, well-off family and was shocked by her assisting the unsightly woman. Amy's face began to flush with embarrassment. What was I thinking? I can't be seen with this woman in this wealthy part of town. Now what will everyone think of me? You shouldn't allow what others think of you to dictate the value of your actions, she heard a voice say. Everyone has a choice, whether or not they would build their lives with deeds that last, like gold and silver, or with activities that don't, like hay and straw. Amy turned around to see who had spoken, but she found no one.
There was a Scottish boy who studied in a school in South London. He was an outstanding sportsman and by the age of 15 was on his school's first team for rugby and cricket. He was also reputed to be Scotland's fastest runner, with many newspapers reporting on his successful track meets. A few years later, he was given the honor of representing his country at the Olympics. His name was Eric. The big day that Eric had been training for had arrived. It was the Paris Olympics. As he took his place at the starting line, the American team masseur tapped on his shoulder and handed him a piece of paper and ran off. Eric quickly read it, then hastily crumpled the paper and held on to it tightly as he got into position. Bang! The race had begun. Very few people expected Eric to do well in this 400-meter race. However, many were curious to know the outcome of the man who chose not to run in his best event, the 100-meter sprint, simply because it was on a Sunday, the Lord's Day. As the runners passed the halfway mark, Eric was in the lead, but would he be able to maintain it? With just about 100 meters left, everyone held their breath. Eric was still in the lead. He gave his body one final push and felt the cord snap as he flew past the finish line. He had won the race. The crowd was cheering loudly. Eric had won the first ever Olympic gold medal for Scotland. As his teammates lifted him on their backs, the announcer read out the results. Gold medal, Eric Liddell, world record. Eric was still clutching the small note. Inside it was written, "It says in the Bible, 'Those who honor me, I will honor.'" God had honored Eric's commitment to him. The future was so bright for Eric. At 22, he was a great athlete, having played for the Scottish rugby team and now having returned home with 2 Olympic medals in athletics. He was smart and had just graduated from the University of Edinburgh with a degree in pure science. He also was a great leader and a strong Christian, having spoken at evangelistic meetings to large crowds from the time he was a teenager. He was well loved and described as being entirely without pride. What did the future hold for him?
Fast forward 10 years. Jim Elliot was living his dream deep in the Amazon jungles of Ecuador. It was a hot Sunday afternoon when Jim and his 4 companions sat by the Curare River, finishing their lunch with great anticipation as they waited to meet some of the tribesmen who lived in the jungle. They had sent out a messenger 2 days earlier, inviting the tribe to meet them at the river bank. For years, Jim had prepared himself for this moment, when he would meet the people he had been praying for, who had never had any friendly contact with the outside world or heard about Jesus Christ. Suddenly, something caught his eye. The natives were approaching, but the tribesmen were not empty-handed. They were carrying long, sharp spears. Before the 5 missionaries could run or explain, one by one they fell, fatally speared by the natives, who then threw their bodies into the river. The natives lived in a cannibalistic society without the knowledge of love. They could not trust the white men. The only way they knew to protect themselves was to kill Jim and his friends. But God had a better plan. He wasn't going to allow the lives of the 5 missionaries to go to waste. Some years passed, and through a series of circumstances, Jim's widow, Elizabeth, and another lady were invited to live with the tribe. The natives could not believe how all the wives of the missionaries could forgive them for killing their husbands. God used that example of forgiveness to illustrate how He forgave them despite of all their sins. One by one, the tribesmen understood the grace of Jesus Christ. Jim Elliot's dream was fulfilled. The once cannibalistic tribe that had never heard about Jesus Christ is today totally changed and following God's way. It cost Jim his life, but in his words, that was of little value in comparison to the infinite worth of bringing the Waodani people to God.